In today's video, we're going to be going over the top questions that we're seeing out there from people that are thinking about buying or selling real estate. So I went to Reddit and we looked at the top 7 questions that are being asked about buying or selling real estate. My name is Alex Haigh, and on this channel, living in South Florida, we help people navigate the real estate market here in South Florida. We love to help people understand what's going on here in the South Florida area. If you want to have a direct question answered, I'd love to answer that question. So please feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you. We'll answer your questions directly. We put out content every week here on the channel. That being said, let's get right into the content. All right, so we're going over the top 7 questions here. The number 1 question, this has to do with sellers, right? So, should I work with my neighbor? How important is the listing agent? I've gotten this question many times over the years. It can be a little tough, of all, to work with family or friends. So it's great that if you like that person as a friend, and they may be a good listing agent for you. These are the questions that you need to ask them to see if that neighbor that is your friend is going to be a good person to list your house. The first thing is, what is their marketing expertise? They should have a marketing plan. Literally a marketing plan. This is what we're going to do here. This is what we're going to do here. This is where we market here. This is what our photos look like. 360 drone. Personally, we don't do a lot of print. So if they come to you and they say, oh, I do all this print advertising, if they're all about putting it in magazines and on the postcards to the whole neighborhood and that's not going to help sell your house. So understand from them what is their marketing, and it should have a lot to do with digital marketing. So into that as well, what is their pricing strategy? To understand that pricing strategy, what we do is we look at the macro market. I just did a video a few videos ago that went over the whole market. So there's a pricing strategy for the specific type of property and area. Negotiating skills. How many contracts have you negotiated? What is your strategy around negotiating? That's a really good question to ask. So problem solving, the septic field, the inspection, and this fell through because of financing or it didn't work. These things are important. How many of these problems have they had over the years, right? So what is their local knowledge? There might be I won't say it, a treatment plant next door. And if they don't know about that, or maybe the railroad tracks, those kind of things, I think it's important from a local knowledge standpoint. So those are some of the top answers that I would give as far as the questions that you want to ask the listing agent. What is their experience? And that'll help you understand and determine if they're the right person for you. All right, so the second question, again, has to do with sellers. If selling my first house, I literally need to continue living in my current home while I build a new home. I'm not interested in previously occupied homes, so you want a new construction home, but we can still use this around a used home as well, or a resale. Do I ask my buyer for a deposit, which I'll turn in from my next purchase? All right, we need to understand your timeline. What kind of timeline do you want to be in that new home? Because if it's new construction, and if this is a vacant lot and nothing's been taken off, i.e. it hasn't been improved, you might be looking at 13 to 14 months. But again, let's look at your timeline first. Now, I really suggest hiring a real estate agent to help you with this, because ultimately there's going to be some things that you're going to have to, again, kind of back to the first question, what are the problem solving? What is the negotiation? How do we navigate this so that you can actually get your property under contract and then extract that money so that you can put it on to the new home? Also, what you can do is something called a bridge loan. Now, so that real estate agent is going to put you with a great mortgage broker or bank that is going to help you potentially with a bridge loan. So you might be able to extract that $100,000 of equity out, put it as maybe a down payment or a portion thereof onto that new home. And there's some debt to income ratios and stuff that you're going to have to work with. It can be done. But if it's an investment property, there might be some tax implications, and you want to know what those are. You don't want to get hit at the end of the year of like, oh my God, I didn't know I had to pay all those taxes. So I hope that this answers some of those questions. So the number 3 question is here. I'm about to list my house with a realtor, but I just found a cash buyer. What should I know? Now, my realtor is telling me it will cost me 2.5% for doing the deal for me. Besides the paperwork that the real estate agent and attorney can handle, what are other obstacles I could run into? Good question. How much can I pay for the assistance I need? How should I adjust my asking price for a cash buyer? What should I do to cover myself? Any worries or concerns that I should look for? Red flags, possibilities? Well, thank you for your help. Well, I'm about to give you some help here. Now, first thing that you want to do, you could go off and do a bunch of different research, but remember, I've been doing this for 20 years and there's still things that come up. I'm like, oh my Lord, I didn't see that coming, but I'm able to navigate it from other things that I've learned. So the first thing that you want to do is verify that buyer's funds. So simply all you have to do is ask them. They can actually send you a printout of their bank statement, and you want that to be cash at the bottom, right, of the amount for that $500,000 that you're looking to potentially sell the house for. And they can white out their account numbers, right? So you're not going to be, getting access to their account numbers. That's proof of funds, we call it, or buyer verification of assets, if you will. Now, a real estate attorney. So in Florida, you can use a real estate attorney or you can use a title company. The title companies actually have attorneys that review those documents for the insurance policy that actually covers you, okay? Home inspection. Again, this cash buyer, are they going to do an inspection or are they not going to do an inspection? And ultimately, you need to understand the contract and what their obligations are for that inspection and what your obligations are for that inspection. If it's an as-is contract, I'll give you a hint, you don't have a lot of obligation there. You want somebody representing you that understands the whole real estate transaction so that you're not in the middle of that. You're not emotionally in the middle of that. So at the end of the day, you want to be kind of in the middle. You don't want to be in the middle. You want to have the real estate agent in the middle, navigating that whole process, letting you know what the implications are of what that buyer presents and what you can do and so forth. So again, kind of coming back, I think that it's a really good idea to have a real estate agent help you navigate this process. So that's my answer. All right, so the number 4 question that we have here is kind of a transition question, so that it has to do with buyers and sellers. So here's the question. What's most important in buying a house? In durability. Great specific question there. What's most important when buying a house? For return on investment, to not spend unexpected repairs after the purchase. Great question. So the roof. Do a pre-inspection. You might have actually within the last year or so had to have that 4-point or wind mitigation report done. So that 4-point inspection is going to understand what the effective age of the roof is. Foundation and structure. Ensure that the foundation is good, and this is a home inspector. Now, I want to give you a little tip here. In Florida, we have settling, where the soil will move just a little bit, and you got a big house there, you got a lot of weight. Sometimes it'll crack the foundation. That does not mean that the house has been compromised. Those are called settling cracks, and sometimes you'll see those on the tile, and you'll see these little cracks. It's not a super alarm bell. It's something you want to take a look at and dive into a little bit deeper with that home inspector. Understand, hey, is this house really compromised or is this just settling? Now, an HVAC system, that is your AC. So the home inspector is going to be able to take a look at that, and depending on where you are, if you're closer to the ocean, that salt air can get in and you can deteriorate or knock down or kind of break down an AC unit. Plumbing and electrical, very, very important. That home inspector is going to get in there. They're going to look at the piping. There's a type of piping that's called polybutylene pipes, right? Literally, if the insurance company finds out, which a good home inspector will go in and they can find out if this polybutylene pipe is actually in the house, this polybutylene pipe has been known to fail. they're definitely going to take a look at that piping, and they're also going to take a look at the electrical. They're going to go up in the attic. Are there any exposed wires? Do you have GFI switches, which actually are breakers? So if water gets into something, it shuts that electrical current down. Remember that, it's very important for your insurance. So I hope that that gives you a good overview of the durability things that you want to be thinking about if you're buying and or if you're selling with that pre-inspection report. All right, so the number 5 question here has again to do specifically with buyers. And this is a very specific question. It has to do with fear. So I can buy, but I'm paralyzed to buy and also a little bit angry. I get it. Interest rates have gone up, depending on when you're watching this. But the problem is the houses I see in that price point just look like $500,000 houses with cheap finishes and all. So many have been sold like in 2019, 2020 for $500,000. That's what I was saying there. And they're priced at $1 million now. No renovation done. And that's what makes me angry. So my question is it worth it? Or should I stay put knowing that I saved a lot of money by renting? I'm paralyzed to buy now and regret it in a couple of months. Realtors say buy now, friends say wait. That's such a good question. It is something we get. You're around the kitchen table and people are like, oh yeah, the market's gonna crash. Maybe it will. First of all, I wanna say, I'm very much into personal development and this is gonna dive into that a little bit. Acknowledge your emotions. You're angry. That's okay. We get angry. Why are we angry? Angry is an emotion. The thought comes first. The thought is, I miss the market. These houses are $1 million. They've got, these finishes that aren't great, and it was $500,000 3 years ago. I'm angry and frustrated because of that thought. I missed out. That's okay. Establish that that's what you believe. Now we can change our beliefs, okay? I think that this is a great example and a great opportunity to reach out to a realtor and say, let's look at the landscape here. Show me what the market is doing so that I understand what's going on with pricing, all right? So I know I keep diving back to a realtor here, but at the end of the day, you don't have to do anything. You're working with a real estate agent. The real estate agents don't get paid until there's a closing. So you're not paying somebody up front. So find somebody and go on Google. If you're local here, give us a call and kind of go over what is really going on and the questions that you have to help you navigate those thoughts so that maybe you can get to a feeling of, oh, okay, I'm doing a good thing here of buying. Revisit your goals. Like, what are your goals? Our goals, we have 1-year goals, 3-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, or maybe you're like, gosh, I just want to own a house I'm this age. You are here now. Do something now that will benefit you in the future. Don't wait for the potentiality of something benefiting you in the future. Do it now. If you've got to cut back on Starbucks or on a subscription or maybe a vacation here or there, in the long run, you're going to be better off there. So let's move on to the next one. Question number 6. Here's the question. Hi, first time buy and first offer verbally accepted. Yes, I know anything can happen since we're still waiting on a signed acceptance. My question is, am I doing the right thing waiting to see what the inspection shows to try to renegotiate, or should I go back out now before they formally accept the offer? If I do wait till after the inspection to pull out if they don't want to renegotiate, how much money would I lose? All right, so waiting for the inspection. So basically what you're asking is, am I willing to go over what we think the market will be with the idea that we're going to inspect and then negotiate? This is a strategy that some use, especially this person in particular. They've made 10 offers, they haven't got a property. I would offer, is this the ideal property for you, or are you settling? Now, if you've gone through 10 houses, you know that you're gonna come in on a price, right? Value is another thing. I'm gonna say that again. Pricing is one thing, value is another thing. As real estate agents, we help sellers price property. Value comes in from an appraiser. Now, back to the negotiation, I would say my personal opinion here is if this is a great house for you, move ahead with it. Because even if they think it's $15,000 over, again, that appraiser is going to protect you in the end. But yeah, you're going to do inspections, and you can use that inspection report to go back and negotiate within, and this is going to get into my last question here about somebody who might want to back out of a contract, so stay tuned for that within that inspection period, buyer may conduct inspections as buyer sees fit, and buyer may cancel this contract by written notice. You want an agent that really understands and cares about you, doesn't just care about the commission with that commission breath. You don't want that real estate agent. You want the one that's all about helping you. So hope that, hey, this person out there, if you're watching, congratulations on saving that money. Just make sure you have a good real estate agent to help you protect that money so you make a great decision. So number 7, this is for the buyers out there. And also for you sellers, know that the buyers have these rights to do this. So this is helpful for a seller to understand as well. So here's a question, or the scenario. Made an offer on a house and now I regret it. And then the second question or title is, can we legally cancel our contract without losing earnest money? Buyer's agent broker says no. Really interesting question here. We have had one entire home inspection and 2 more follow-ups on just the HVAC, which is the AC system, issues that haven't been addressed. The seller's HVAC company, who installs a system a few years ago, says everything is fine now and been corrected. Our home inspector disagrees. There are still 4 rooms in the home that are not cooling as they should. Buyer broker says we are not allowed to cancel now. What say you? Great question. Gosh, I mean, you would have regrets here. I don't know what contract this particular person signed, so I can't speak to this specifically. So, in a generality, in Florida right now, 99% of probably 99.9% of the contracts are as is with the right to inspect. Okay. So within the as is clause, buyer may conduct inspections as buyer sees fit. As buyer sees fit, and also in buyer's sole discretion. Those 2 sentences, I say, boil the whole as-is contract down to those 2 sentences. So you can conduct inspections as you see fit and in buyer's sole discretion. So again, I don't know what contract this person signed, but if you're within that inspection period, all you have to do is say, real estate agent, Bobby, Susie, whomever you're working with, Alex, Jessica, someone on our team, I want to cancel. You can cancel within that period and you don't have to give a reason. I'm not giving you legal advice here, but I can tell you a good real estate agent is going to give you that buffer so that you're not going to have regrets. So it's not an obligation, it's your right within the contract to get that home inspector in there. So once you go past that 10 days, you couldn't exercise the right to just cancel, right? You have to move ahead towards appraisal and you have to make an earnest effort to get the loan. But just understand, there are some obligations once you go past certain milestones that you have as a buyer. This is legal, this is a contract, and we need to operate within the parameters of that contract from both sides. So also remember, the seller can't just cancel the contract. They're under agreement with you. So even within that 10 days, they can't say, oh, wait, no, that's the buyer's right to cancel within that period, not the seller. And again, if you have a good real estate agent, there's a good chance that it will not go sideways on you. With that being said, the seller can't just go and take that money. There's no taking money. You would actually have to sign to have that deposit released. We love to answer questions. One of the things, I was talking about with our videographer a little bit earlier is that you can go onto YouTube, you can go onto Google, you can go onto Yahoo, and you can ask, questions, but ultimately you're going to get just a barrage of different kinds of answers. And some of those are opinions and some of them are really good advice. And if you reach out to us, know that there's not going to be any commission breath. There's not going to be, oh, you need to buy, you need to sign something with us. We are here to earn your business. And earning your business means that we need to add value to you so that you'll want to work with us. So feel free to reach out. There's no obligation. If you want to reach out and talk to us, we'll have a conversation with you. We want to win your business. We want to earn your business. And ultimately, we're here to serve. That's what we're all about. So I hope that those 7 questions were valuable to you. And again, if you have questions, you can always drop them in the comments below. And we hyper appreciate subscriptions. So if you want to hit the subscribe button, we drop a new video every single week to answer your questions and show you what's going on in the South Florida real estate market. So I so appreciate you taking the time to watch this. We'll see you on the next one.